What's up? Big Black Love here. Video number 2. I just did a 1, 2 on video updates for how-to video on engine wiring and the hood. So once again, it comes into how detailed you want it to be. On a Ford, your distributor's up front, so you got to do extra detail if you want it to look realistic. On some Chevys, when you're doing big blowers and big dual quads and pro chargers and all sorts of crazy stuff, when there's tons of stuff on top of the motor, can't really see it. So there's ways to cheat and there's ways to make it look as real as possible. So, and then the hood hinges and stuff, and I'm going to start with the hinges because they're more quick, because it's kind of is not really a way to really show how I did it, except for how to show you what I did. And after you get some practice with making hinges, I used Twipe Rod's method with the 3/32 rod, and I've had the best with office clips that my girlfriend gets me from her work. But so I don't really have any out. I couldn't find any, and I really wasn't thinking to make some. So, but here's the hinge that Twipe Rod shows to make. I guess I'll turn this the right way so I know what I'm talking about. Alright, so there's basically part of it. The other part is underneath there. If you go to his page, by seeing his stuff and seeing this, you'll know what I did. Now, originally I got this idea because I was going to do a double tilt side, and then I just started thinking, if I had one on there, it would rotate. And that's just kind of one of those things, you get a crazy idea and you go with it. So, it's basically, you just get your hinge, and, it's best to do all this before you ever do any painting. And this one was actually kind of hard because the taillight assembly is part of this part of the taillight assembly that's separate from the body and the trunk. So I had to glue that in and then cut it apart, so that was real fun. But that's the idea of the hinge. And swing it all the way around. Almost, obviously, you're going to hit your hinge base. Now, depending on how you built it, depending on clearance issues and whatnot, you might be able to get away with doing a full 360. But I can make it do 360, but then it won't close proper. And same thing with the front. Of course, that got in detailed. We had to slowly notch out all that plastic, and I had to notch stuff out from the inner fender to make room. And I didn't have all that stuff cut. There was an actual. I had to redo all that because I forgot about the radiator core support. So always test fit all your parts when you're doing custom work, just like they do when you see them on TV. Before you paint, custom fit everything. Okay, so I cheated. Now that the contest is over, ha 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 ha. I cheated on this one. You can see the wires in the back are just, well, you can't, which is nice because I painted over the top and put a little glued putty over the top to make it look like a distributor cap cover. But you can either really cheat like I did, and on that one I actually had to go individual. But if you take, this is the inside of telephone wire, by the way, stripped out. On the evergreen husky, I actually took the copper, I stripped the copper out of the inside of the tubes. But if you take 4 pieces, at least for a V8, and pinch them in the middle, you can glue them directly, like right where my fingers are, glue them on top of your distributor. Imagine my finger to distributor. And then after that, the glue dries really good. You can take your individual wires and run them in between the exhaust manifolds. Here's one of my wires. I used to use thread from my mom's sewing kit, and to scale, that's actually really close to stock wires. The distributor obviously goes back here behind so you can cheat. What I used to do with the thread is the same thing, as I take 4 pieces, except for I'd tie a knot right in the middle to help hold them together because they're so small. You can just barely see that knot. And you'd glue that knot onto the top of the distributor and then very carefully pull your thread to the size length you need and then trim it. You got 4 wires on each side. And then if you want the realistic way, I'll show you on my Bel Air turbo motor. I take a small needle, or a really small needle for the thread, but a bobby pin like what we use for our shift knobs, and I heat that up and I poke holes where the spark plugs are supposed to go. This is an inline 6, so it gets 6 holes. This one even has dimples, so you really wouldn't even need them. That's where the coil goes. But as you can see, I've poked holes right there. You can see the little bit of white sticking through. You won't see that when the wire's in there. And the wire, you just heat it and rotate it a little bit and make it so the wire slips in. And once the wire slips in, you do the same method right here. I like to cut all the little terminals off of the distributor, especially if it's a bigger one. Sometimes you can't do it, and poke holes in it. But normally you get the little bumpies on the distributor. So if you take your time and hollow out the tubes, take the copper out of them, and do this to your block, and then you can just literally take the little tiny bit of that wire. That one's not open, but you pull the wire out of it, and you take a new X-Acto knife and very carefully, I guess like twist open the hole, and you can literally just slip that right over on top of the distributor. And that is the principle I used. This motor actually had spark plug wire, or spark plugs coming out of the block, and I did the cheat glue on top and the back, and then I stuck them onto each individual spark plug. And the same thing for any of your other accessory tubes. I like to heat up, and if you get it just right, you can heat up, and the little bit of plastic that pushes out around the hole, you push it in, and it'll open up the hole, and the plastic curls out around. You stick it in when it's hot, and you twist it so it doesn't stick when it's cooling off. And when you pull it out and it leaves that little round, you can paint that, and it looks like a fitting, like the little bolt part that goes into the manifold. So just another little tip to help. It never shows up on camera, but in person it'll wow the judges at your contest. So I'm actually my mystery project. I'm really taking my time with it, and it's going to go into the winter contest at my local hobby store. And when that happens, I will do a video for it. But so I hope that was a little bit of help on how to wire a motor. That was for Civic with Style, and then the hinges was for B-Dog Films. I hope that helped you out a little bit. Yeah, and then of course, if you don't want to do the swing method, to keep it from swinging, you'd put a hinge on both sides of whatever axis you want it to tilt from. So, and I can't remember who it was right now. I will check real quick though. Yes, Satanzer666 asked me a while, it was a week ago, sorry about that, man, on how to do the hinges stuff. I believe I sent you the Fast Jimmy and Twiprod stuff. If you're still having problems with that, I can help. That 70 Chevelle looks like it would be hard to do a tilt front because of the way the grill is, but I'm sure with some practice and several attempts at making the right hinges, you'll pull it off. So you might even have to do static hinges, not operating hinges. So that's the only bummer about that. But So that's it for right now. I hope those hinges and the engine wiring helped out some. And if you want to go super crazy and you don't know the car, just Google the car, engine compartment or engine bay, and or just car show pictures, and it'll pull up everything you need to see to replicate. So that's it for right now. Big Block Love signing out. Peace.